Have you ever walked into a room and instantly felt invisible? Your heart beats faster, your palms grow damp, and you hope nobody asks you to speak. Then you look around and see someone else enter with calm ease. They don't have to try hard. They don't need to shout, yet everyone notices them. Their presence fills the room, and you wonder what secret they hold. The truth is, it isn't luck, and it isn't magic. What they have is confidence. And the remarkable thing is that confidence is not something you are either born with or without. It is something that can be built, step by step, through deliberate choices and consistent practice. Many people think of confidence as a mask, an act of pretending you're stronger, braver, or more talented than you really are. But pretending is fragile. One challenge, one doubt, and the mask cracks. Real confidence is different. It comes from the inside, from the way you see yourself, and the way you decide to act even when fear whispers that you can't. And that means anyone can learn it, including you. The first step is to stop chasing perfection. Too often people believe they need to fix themselves before they deserve to be confident, to look a certain way, to be flawless at work, to never make mistakes. But that's a trap. Think of the most charismatic person you know. Are they perfect? Probably not. What makes them magnetic is that they are comfortable being themselves. They laugh at their own mistakes. They admit what they don't know. And in doing so, they make others feel at ease. Instead of running from their imperfections, they own them. When you decide to accept yourself fully, strengths, flaws, quirks, and all, you release the heavy weight of pretending, and that is the soil where true confidence grows. But self-acceptance alone is not enough. What truly shapes your confidence is the voice in your own head. That voice can be your greatest enemy or your strongest ally. Imagine you make a mistake during a presentation. Your inner critic might immediately shout, "You're terrible. Everyone thinks you're a fool." Now imagine saying those words to a close friend. You probably never would, because you know how cruel they sound. So why allow them inside your own mind? Confident people aren't free of mistakes. They simply speak to themselves differently when mistakes happen. Instead of, "I'm a failure," they say, "That didn't work, but I'll do better next time." And instead of, "I can't do this," they add a single powerful word, "yet." That small change, "I can't do this yet," turns a dead end into a stepping stone. Over time, reshaping your inner dialogue becomes one of the strongest foundations for lasting self-belief. Another trap that drains confidence is comparison. We live in an age where it's effortless to scroll through endless images of people who seem smarter, richer, happier, or more attractive. But remember this, you are only seeing their highlights, not their whole story. Behind those polished pictures are struggles and insecurities they don't show. Every person you admire wrestles with doubts, just like you. Comparing yourself to them is like comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's best moments. The only useful comparison is with yourself, who you were yesterday versus who you are today. Did you learn something new? Did you take even one small step forward? That progress, however small, is where real confidence is born. And here lies another truth. Confidence doesn't appear before action. It grows because of action. Think of confidence like a staircase. You don't leap to the top. You climb one step at a time. Each time you act despite fear, you prove to yourself that you can. Start with small, bold steps. Greet a stranger. Share your opinion in a meeting. Volunteer for something slightly outside your comfort zone. These little choices might not seem important, but they accumulate. Every time you take action, even while afraid, your brain learns a new message. I can handle this. Fear doesn't vanish, but it loses its power. Instead of waiting for courage to arrive before moving forward, you move forward first, and courage grows along the way. Imagine a person standing in front of a mirror today, shoulders slouched, avoiding their own gaze, convinced they are not enough. Now picture that same person a year from now. They have learned to accept themselves, to challenge the harsh voice in their head, to measure their life by their own progress, and to take small risks daily. Their reflection is different. Shoulders back, eyes steady, a quiet strength in their stance. They no longer enter rooms hoping not to be noticed. They enter with a calm presence that others can feel, even before they speak. This is the beginning of real confidence. It is not loud. It is not about proving yourself. It is about knowing yourself, trusting yourself, and acting even when uncertainty lingers. These are the first bricks in a foundation that will support everything else you build. And while these first steps are powerful, they are only the start. Confidence does not live only inside your thoughts. It shows itself in how you carry your body, how you use your voice, and how you connect with the world around you. To unlock those secrets, we must go deeper into the inner game. The mental habits that transform not just how others see you, but how you see yourself. And that is where the next chapter of this journey begins. When most people think of confidence, they picture the external signs: a firm handshake, steady eye contact, a calm voice. But the truth is, those are only the surface. Real confidence begins much deeper, in the invisible space between your ears. Before you can change how the world sees you, you must change how you see yourself. That inner game is where the transformation begins. Think for a moment about the stories you tell yourself every day. Every human being carries a private narrative that runs silently in the background of their mind. Some stories are empowering. I'm capable. I can learn. I can handle challenges. Others are destructive. I'm not good enough. I'll never succeed. People won't take me seriously. These narratives may be invisible, but they shape every decision you make. If you believe deep down that you don't deserve success, you will shrink from opportunities even if they're right in front of you. If you believe that your voice doesn't matter, you will silence yourself before anyone else has a chance to listen. The good news is that stories are not fixed. They can be rewritten. But to rewrite them, you first need to notice them. Most people are so used to their inner dialogue that they don't even realize how cruel it has become. Imagine a friend sitting next to you, whispering the same thoughts your mind throws at you on a daily basis. You're not smart enough. You'll embarrass yourself. Why even try? You'd probably push that friend out of the room. And yet, when it comes from inside your own head, you let it stay. The first step in mastering the inner game of confidence is to challenge that voice, not by fighting it with anger, but by questioning it with calm curiosity. Is this thought really true? What evidence do I have? Could there be another way of looking at this? Take the example of someone preparing for a job interview. The anxious inner voice may whisper, "You're going to fail. The other candidates are better than you." But what if, instead of surrendering, they paused and challenged the thought? They might replace it with, "I may not know everything, but I've worked hard. I have unique strengths, and I deserve a chance." That shift doesn't erase nervousness, but it changes the energy. Suddenly, they walk into the room not as someone begging for approval, but as someone offering value. That is the quiet power of reframing your self-talk. Another essential part of the inner game is the way you relate to fear. Many people wait for fear to vanish before they act, believing that once they feel brave, then they will speak up, take risks, or go after their dreams. But courage does not come first. Action comes first. Confidence is built by walking into fear, not waiting for it to disappear. Consider the child learning to ride a bicycle. They don't wait until the shaking stops before they pedal. They pedal while shaking, and eventually the shaking calms down. Adults are no different. The trembling hands during a presentation, the racing heartbeat before a big decision. These aren't signs of weakness. They are signs that you are growing. One practical way to train yourself in this is to deliberately place yourself in small, uncomfortable situations on purpose. Order food in a restaurant with a clear, strong voice. Strike up a short conversation with someone you don't know. Volunteer for a task at work that feels slightly beyond your comfort zone. Each small action is a training ground. Your body learns that fear does not mean danger, and your mind learns that you can survive discomfort. Over time, fear shrinks and your sense of self-trust expands. Confidence is really just trust in yourself, the belief that no matter what happens, you will be able to handle it. And that trust also comes from keeping the promises you make to yourself. Think about the last time you set a goal, maybe to wake up early, to exercise, or to study regularly, and then gave up after a few days. Each time that happens, even if nobody else knows, a part of you loses trust in yourself. It's like making a promise to a friend and breaking it again and again. Soon, that friend stops believing your words. Your inner self works the same way. Confidence grows when you do what you said you would do, even in small things. If you decide to read for 10 minutes a day, and you actually do it, you are teaching yourself, I can rely on me. The more often you follow through, the stronger your self-trust becomes, and with it, your confidence. Another hidden enemy of confidence is the obsession with control. Many people feel they can only be confident if they can predict and manage every outcome. But life rarely works that way. A confident person does not need certainty to act. They act despite uncertainty. Think of an athlete stepping into the arena. They cannot control the weather, the crowd, or the opponent's strategy. What they can control is their preparation, their effort, and their response. That's it. And that is enough. When you stop demanding control over everything, you free yourself to focus on what actually matters. The more you practice this, the calmer and steadier you become, even in chaotic situations. A helpful way to apply this is to ask yourself 2 questions whenever you face doubt or anxiety. What can I control right now? And what must I let go? Suppose you're about to give a speech. You cannot control whether every person in the audience likes you, but you can control your breathing, your pacing, and the clarity of your message. By focusing on those things, you anchor yourself in action rather than anxiety. That is what confident people do instinctively. They release what they cannot hold, and they master what they can. And yet, even with self-acceptance, reframed self-talk, trust in yourself, and focus on what you can control, there is another essential ingredient: purpose. Confidence is not just about feeling good in the moment. It is about knowing why you are doing what you're doing. When your actions align with something bigger than your ego, your confidence deepens. Think of a parent protecting their child. Even the shyest, most insecure person will step forward with courage when it matters, because the purpose outweighs the fear. Ask yourself, why does this matter to me? What am I building toward? Who can benefit if I succeed? Connecting your daily choices to a bigger vision transforms hesitation into determination. Imagine for a moment a young musician. Alone in their room, they are nervous, second-guessing every note. But when they remember why they started, the joy of sharing music, the dream of touching people's hearts, suddenly their hands steady. They no longer think only of themselves. They think of the gift they are offering. Confidence grows naturally when the focus shifts outward. So the inner game of confidence is not about silencing fear forever or pretending to be fearless. It is about accepting yourself as you are, challenging your destructive inner dialogue, acting even with fear, keeping promises to yourself, letting go of what you cannot control, and anchoring everything in a deeper sense of purpose. These inner practices don't happen overnight. They are cultivated slowly, through repetition, reflection, and persistence. But each day you practice them, you add another layer to the armor of your confidence. Now, think back to the person who walked into the room at the beginning of this story. Calm, steady, noticeable, without trying. What you saw was the outer expression of confidence, but what you didn't see was the inner work behind it. The nights spent wrestling with doubt, the mornings spent pushing through discomfort, the countless small choices to believe in themselves and act anyway. That inner game is what fuels the outer glow. And that brings us to the next step in this journey. Because confidence, once nurtured within, must also be expressed outwardly. The world does not just hear your thoughts. It sees your body language, your gestures, your tone of voice. In the next stage, we'll explore how to let your inner confidence shine through your actions, so that when you walk into any room, your presence alone speaks volumes before you say a single word. Confidence built inside the mind becomes truly powerful only when it is expressed outwardly. After all, no one can see your private thoughts or inner dialogue. The world forms its impression of you based on how you move, how you speak, and how you carry yourself. Think of it like light shining through a window. You may have cultivated strength and clarity within, but unless you let it shine outward, others will never feel it. And when others don't feel it, opportunities slip away unnoticed. The outer expression of confidence is the bridge between your inner self and the world around you. Picture someone walking into a room with slouched shoulders, eyes cast downward, and shuffling steps. Even if they are talented, intelligent, and kind, most people will unconsciously assume they lack confidence. Now imagine someone else entering with their shoulders back, head upright, steps steady and deliberate. They don't say a word, but they already command attention. Nothing magical has happened. They are sending signals through body language. These signals matter because human beings are wired to read them instantly. Long before words are spoken, the body communicates. A confident posture tells the world, "I belong here," while a nervous posture whispers, "I hope nobody notices me." The good news is that posture is not destiny. It can be trained. Stand tall, relax your shoulders, breathe slowly. These small physical adjustments create a ripple effect, not just in how others see you, but in how you feel inside. Eye contact is another powerful signal. Avoiding eyes makes people doubt your sincerity, while steady, not staring, but steady, eye contact communicates trust and strength. If this feels uncomfortable, start small. Practice holding someone's gaze for just a second longer than you normally would, and gradually increase. Over time, it becomes natural, and with it, your presence grows stronger. Your voice, too, is a mirror of your confidence. Think of the difference between someone speaking with a rushed, shaky tone and someone who pauses, breathes, and speaks clearly. The content may be the same, but the impact is worlds apart. People are more likely to believe a message delivered calmly and steadily than one delivered in a nervous rush. One simple way to strengthen your voice is to practice slowing down. Silence, used wisely, is a sign of confidence. It shows you are not afraid to take space, not afraid to let your words land. Try this the next time you speak. Take a breath before answering, then speak with measured pacing. You will notice people listen more closely because your calmness makes them trust you. But confidence is not just about posture, eyes, and voice. It is also about the energy you project when you interact with others. Think of two people at a gathering. One constantly looks around the room, fidgeting, waiting for someone else to initiate conversation. The other person engages fully with whoever they are speaking to, listening attentively, nodding, asking thoughtful questions. Which one seems more confident? True confidence is not about dominating the conversation or talking the loudest. It is about being fully present. When you give someone your full attention, you show that you are comfortable enough in yourself to not need constant validation. And paradoxically, that makes you magnetic. People remember how you made them feel more than what you said. Humor can also be a subtle expression of confidence. Not forced jokes or trying too hard, but the ability to laugh, especially at yourself. When you can smile at your own mistakes, you show others that you are not fragile. You are not desperately guarding an image of perfection. You are real, and that makes others feel safe around you. Contrast this with someone who reacts defensively to the smallest critique or hides every error. Their insecurity is obvious, and it pushes people away. Confidence is steady enough to withstand imperfection. Think of moments when you have been drawn to someone without knowing why. Maybe they weren't the most attractive or the most successful in the room, yet something about them pulled you in. That something was likely presence, the calm assurance that they were comfortable in their own skin and fully engaged in the moment. Presence can't be faked for long. It grows naturally from the inner practices you've already begun and expresses itself through these outer signals: posture, eye contact, voice, listening, humor, calm energy. One of the most practical ways to develop this outward expression is to treat daily life as practice. Each time you walk through a doorway, imagine you are stepping onto a stage, not in a theatrical sense, but in the sense that you are aware of your posture and presence. Each time you order coffee, treat it as a chance to practice speaking clearly, with eye contact and a smile. Every conversation is a rehearsal, and with each rehearsal, your confidence becomes less of an effort and more of a habit. It is also important to remember that confident expression is not about being loud or overbearing. Many people mistake arrogance for confidence. Arrogance shouts, while confidence speaks calmly. Arrogance demands attention, while confidence earns it naturally. The difference lies in energy. A truly confident person does not need to prove themselves. They are secure enough to let others shine too. They do not feel threatened by different opinions. They are not afraid to admit when they don't know something. This humility, paired with steady presence, is what makes people trust and respect them. Imagine once again entering that room full of strangers. In the past, you may have slipped in quietly, hoping to avoid notice. But now you walk in differently. Your head is high, your steps are steady, your eyes meet others with warmth, not fear. You strike up a conversation, not because you are desperate to impress, but because you are genuinely curious. You listen as much as you speak. You laugh when something goes wrong. Suddenly, without trying, people are drawn to you. They remember you. And you realize something powerful. Confidence is not about forcing the world to look at you. It is about carrying yourself in such a way that the world can't help but notice. The outer expression of confidence is simply the reflection of the inner work you have done. It is the visible echo of your acceptance, your self-trust, your resilience. And the more you practice, the more natural it becomes. At first, it may feel deliberate, remembering to stand tall, remembering to slow your speech. But over time, these habits blend into who you are until you no longer have to think about them. You simply embody them. That is when confidence stops being an act and becomes a part of your identity. This journey does not end here. Outward confidence is powerful, but for it to last, it must be supported by long-term habits and a lifestyle that continually strengthens it. In the next part, we will explore how confidence can be sustained, how daily choices and consistent practices build not just temporary courage, but lasting, unshakable belief in yourself. Because confidence is not a single moment, it is a lifelong journey of growth. Confidence that shines in a single moment is impressive, but confidence that lasts through the ups and downs of life is far more valuable. Anyone can have a good day where everything feels easy, where compliments flow and courage seems natural. But what happens when things don't go your way? When criticism cuts deep, when failure knocks you down, when uncertainty clouds your path? That is the true test. Lasting confidence isn't about never stumbling. It is about building habits and practices that allow you to rise again, stronger each time. One of the first habits that strengthens long-term confidence is consistency. Small, repeated actions build trust in yourself in a way that one-off moments never can. Imagine someone who promises themselves they will wake up earlier, exercise, or spend time improving a skill. If they keep those promises day after day, they begin to see themselves differently. They no longer just hope to be disciplined or confident. They start to embody it. Each small commitment kept is like laying another brick in a strong foundation. Over time, those bricks form an unshakable structure. And just like a building, confidence built steadily lasts far longer than confidence built quickly. Another essential habit is setting and achieving small goals. Many people make the mistake of waiting until they have accomplished something huge before allowing themselves to feel proud. But massive achievements are rare and take time. If you wait for those alone, your confidence will always feel far away. Instead, Train yourself to recognize progress in small victories. When you finish a project on time, when you learn a new skill, when you speak up even though your voice shakes, celebrate those steps. Each one is proof that you are growing. And growth, not perfection, is what builds confidence. Of course, there will be setbacks. Nobody moves forward in a straight line. There will be failures, mistakes, and moments of doubt. The difference between people who stay confident and those who crumble is how they respond when things go wrong. If you interpret failure as a verdict, as proof that you are not good enough, your confidence will erode. But if you interpret failure as feedback, as information about what didn't work and what you can try next, then every failure becomes part of your training. Imagine a scientist testing an idea. When an experiment doesn't work, they don't quit science altogether. They adjust, learn, and try again. Adopting this mindset in daily life allows you to maintain confidence even when outcomes don't match your hopes. Another long-term practice is deliberately stepping into discomfort. Human beings naturally avoid pain, but avoiding all discomfort leads to stagnation. Confidence, like a muscle, grows stronger when it is challenged. Think of the gym. Muscles don't grow when you lift the lightest weight and stop as soon as it feels difficult. They grow when you gradually increase the weight and push through resistance. The same is true for confidence. Each time you do something that stretches you, whether it's speaking in public, trying something new, or confronting a fear, you expand your capacity. Over time, what once terrified you becomes routine, and your comfort zone expands. This habit of embracing discomfort also protects you against life's unpredictability. Challenges will always come, but if you have trained yourself to handle discomfort regularly, you won't be shaken as easily. You begin to trust yourself not only when life is smooth, but also when it's messy. That trust is the essence of lasting confidence. Daily reflection can also be a powerful practice. At the end of each day, take a few minutes to ask yourself, what did I do well today? Where did I act with courage? What can I improve tomorrow? This habit prevents you from blindly rushing through life without noticing your progress. It allows you to see how far you've come, even in small ways. It also shifts your focus away from harsh self-criticism toward constructive growth. Over time, this builds a balanced perspective. You recognize your strengths without arrogance and your weaknesses without despair. Another key to sustaining confidence is surrounding yourself with the right environment. Just as plants need sunlight and good soil, confidence thrives in supportive conditions. If you spend most of your time around people who constantly criticize, belittle, or doubt you, it becomes harder to believe in yourself. On the other hand, when you are surrounded by people who challenge you but also encourage you, your confidence grows naturally. This doesn't mean avoiding all criticism. Honest feedback is valuable. But it does mean choosing relationships and environments that nourish rather than drain you. Long-term confidence also requires taking care of your body and mind. It is difficult to feel strong when you are constantly exhausted, unhealthy, or overwhelmed. Simple habits like getting enough rest, eating well, and moving your body regularly contribute more to confidence than most people realize. When your body feels strong and energized, your mind follows. Likewise, practicing mindfulness or meditation can help calm anxiety and bring focus, giving you greater control over your reactions. Most importantly, sustaining confidence means viewing it as a lifelong journey rather than a final destination. Confidence is not a mountain you climb once and declare finished. It is a path you walk daily, sometimes uphill, sometimes smooth, sometimes rocky. There will be moments where you feel unstoppable and moments where you feel uncertain. Both are part of the process. The goal is not to erase all self-doubt forever, but to learn how to move forward despite it. Confidence becomes unshakable not because you never doubt, but because doubt no longer controls you. Picture yourself 5 years from now if you committed to these habits, keeping promises to yourself, setting and achieving small goals, treating failure as feedback, embracing discomfort, reflecting daily, choosing supportive environments, and caring for your body and mind. How different would you feel walking into a challenge? How much more steady would your presence be? Confidence built in this way is not flashy, but it is solid. It does not crumble in the face of failure, because it was built through failure. It does not disappear in discomfort, because it was trained through discomfort. It is confidence that lasts because it was earned, not borrowed. And so, long-term confidence is less about one dramatic moment and more about the quiet discipline of showing up every day. Over time, these small choices shape a person who not only believes in themselves, but lives in a way that others can believe in too. And as you continue to grow in this way, something remarkable happens. Confidence stops being something you consciously think about. It becomes part of who you are. The journey, however, doesn't end here. You now understand the foundations, the inner game, the outer expression, and the habits that sustain confidence. But there is still one final step, tying everything together into a complete transformation. Because the most powerful confidence is not just personal, it ripples outward, influencing how you connect with others and how you live your entire life. And that is where our story will conclude. Confidence is not just about how you feel within yourself. It is also about how your presence affects the world around you. By this stage, you have learned how confidence begins in the mind, is expressed through your actions, and becomes sustainable through daily habits. But the final step is integration, transforming confidence from a personal skill into a way of living that influences everything you touch. When confidence becomes part of who you are, it no longer serves only you. It inspires others, builds stronger connections, and changes the quality of your life. One of the most powerful effects of true confidence is the ability to uplift others. Think about people you admire, the ones whose presence makes you feel calmer, braver, or more hopeful. What makes them so magnetic? It's not that they are perfect or never make mistakes. It's that they carry themselves with a quiet assurance that radiates outward. Their confidence doesn't overshadow others. It creates space for others to feel strong as well. When you embody real confidence, you naturally give permission for those around you to believe in themselves too. This influence is not limited to public figures or leaders. It can happen in everyday life. A student who asks a question confidently in class encourages others to speak up. A professional who shares an idea without fear sets the tone for a more open and creative team. Even a friend who listens without insecurity creates a safe environment for honesty. Confidence is contagious, and when you develop it fully, you become someone who spreads it. Another sign of complete confidence is authenticity. Many people mistakenly think being confident means acting like someone else, louder, tougher, or more extroverted. But that is only a mask, and masks eventually slip. True confidence allows you to stop pretending. It gives you the courage to show your real self, your strengths, your quirks, even your flaws. And paradoxically, that authenticity makes others respect you more. People are drawn to honesty. They can sense when you are being genuine, and that trust is worth more than any performance. At this stage, confidence also becomes less about proving yourself and more about expressing yourself. Earlier in life, you might feel the need to prove that you are smart, strong, or capable. But as your confidence grows, that urgency fades. You no longer act out of fear of judgment, but from a desire to contribute. Whether you are speaking in a meeting, creating art, or having a personal conversation, your focus shifts from "what will they think of me?" to "what value can I bring here?" That shift in perspective is transformative. It frees you from the prison of self-consciousness and allows you to live more fully. Of course, even with all this growth, life will continue to test you. There will still be criticism, setbacks, and moments where doubt creeps in. But the difference now is that you have built an inner anchor. Challenges no longer throw you off course in the same way. You may bend, but you do not break. Confidence does not mean you never stumble. It means you trust yourself to recover and keep going. And that resilience is what makes your confidence unshakable. As your confidence becomes a way of life, it naturally opens new doors. Opportunities that once seemed impossible suddenly feel within reach. You begin to say yes more often, yes to challenges, yes to growth, yes to life. And each yes expands your world further. What was once a dream becomes a goal. What was once a fear becomes a memory. And what was once out of reach becomes part of your reality. But perhaps the most beautiful part of this transformation is peace. When you are no longer at war with yourself, when you no longer question your worth at every step, life feels lighter. Confidence doesn't make problems disappear, but it changes how you carry them. Instead of being crushed by the weight of insecurity, you move with a quiet steadiness. You don't need to shout or demand attention, because your presence already speaks for itself. That calm strength is the final reward of the journey. Imagine yourself now, after walking through this process. You began by learning the mindset of confidence, then practiced expressing it outwardly, developed the habits that sustain it, and finally wove it into the fabric of your daily life. The result is not just a confident moment, but a confident identity. You are no longer someone chasing confidence. You are someone who lives it. And the people around you can feel it too. This is why confidence is often called one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. It changes not only how you see the world, but how the world responds to you. It allows you to step into challenges with courage, to connect with others authentically, and to build a life that reflects your true potential. It is not about being louder or bolder than everyone else. It is about being steady, true, and unafraid to stand in your own light. So the journey ends where it truly begins, with you. Confidence is not waiting out there for the right moment or the perfect circumstances. It is built inside you, step by step, choice by choice. And the good news is that you already have everything you need to begin. Every time you act with courage, every time you choose growth over fear, every time you stand tall even when doubt whispers, you are building it. And as you continue, you will discover that the confident, steady, and authentic version of yourself was never far away. It was within you all along, waiting for you to bring it to life.